Good morning. This is Mark Bruno, Editor-in-Chief of the Cannata Report. It's Friday, which means we're here with Frank. But before we bring Frank out, please remember to like, share, comment, if you subscribe. If you have any topics for consideration, shoot us a comment and we'll definitely consider for a future episode. So good morning, Frank. I understand you've got Intermedia, the cloud, and unified communications on your mind today.
Eric Tuttle is our guest, and I'm so excited to see you, Eric. Welcome.
Great to see you, Frank, as always. Thanks for having me.
Well, this is, to me, one of the more interesting conversations that we could possibly have, simply because when we were approached by intermediaries some time ago, in the very beginning, in fact, for them here in the industry, we liked liked the message, liked what it was going to do. It seemed, it just seemed something that was valuable. But both CJ and I questioned, say, this is going to take us some doing to convince the dealer audience that this is a good way to go. I don't know what you guys did, but I was, both of us were amazed how quickly we embraced it.
We've been doing this with the copier dealer channel now for probably 5 years. And that timeline coincided with a pretty significant event we had globally, which was COVID. And I think during that time, a lot of the copier dealers were looking for a way to replace some lost revenue, right? I mean, the world was shut down. People weren't going into the offices. And consequently, copier sales were down. And so copier dealers were looking to replace that revenue with something else. We walked in and we already had a relationship with POA. They were at that time and today our largest reseller in any segment. And so, POA introduced us to Loffler and introduced us to Milner, and we started talking to these big copier companies, and we learned something. That first of all, there was a need there. Secondly, nobody can sell like the copier dealer channel, and very mature channel. I mean, some of these businesses are 80 years old and being run by the grandkids of the founders, right? And so there's a lot of customers. You guys have huge bases. And so we made the investment. I mean, we saw it, and we started showing up at places like BTA and BPCA and CDA and Cannata Group, of course. And we just started getting our name out there. Knowing that copier dealers weren't used to selling this technology, we also formed a co-sell program. And so we helped those copier dealers and those reps make that transition. And it really wasn't that big of a transition because copier dealers kind of own that office technology space. There's nothing more fundamental to office technology than a phone system. Most every business has a copier. You've got one sitting behind you, a big one. But like every business has a phone system or some way to communicate, even if they're just using cell phones or soft phones on laptops. Every business has some type of communication system to talk to their customers. And so it was kind of just a perfect storm, Frank. Like it just, again, we made the investment and we had a lot of good partners, and these peer groups were critical. So that's really kind of how we did it. And today we have over 250 copier dealers in our channel, doing over $2 million a month in monthly recurring revenue. And when I tell like my industry friends that, they don't believe me. They still kind of look at the copier dealer channel as they're selling copiers. But in reality, as you know, a lot of these copier dealers have made investments too along the way and bought MSPs or created MSPs, kind of redefine themselves. So right place at the right time, perseverance, investment. That's kind of how we got to this place.
But I think you're being very modest, and good for you. You guys did a good job. Anytime you bring something new into this distribution, it's never easy. And I commend you and your team for what you guys did. But now what I would like to see is more dealers embrace it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got 250 dealers on board, that's a pretty strong message that it's a viable, worthwhile product. So what I would like to do is encourage our audience to pay attention. What do you think would be the advantage? Let's say there's dealers have looked at this and don't. What advantage are they missing out on by not employing Intermedia?
I think the business model is something I failed to mention in the last question, but the business model works, right? Because our model is really one of customer ownership. We call it the core reseller model or customer ownership reseller model. And basically what that does, it's a private label way to go to market. So the dealer, copier dealer, sees the top line revenue, right? So we basically sell to the dealer at a partner price. That dealer can mark that price up to whatever the market can bear. They can wrap their own services around it. They can make some really nice margin. But the key thing is with that, in comparison to what some of my competitors do, which this UCaaS business is largely an agent model, right? In other words, you bring us an opportunity, we'll help you close it. We pay you a commission. You walk to the mailbox every month and pick up your commission check, but we've done the work for you. The core model is more of a partnership where you're aiding in the sales process, but it makes you stickier. Number one, right? It's you own the customer because you're doing the back end service, you're doing the billing, right? You're selling a product, and you can basically through private label, you can sell that product as if it was your own. A lot of dealers have migrated towards that. They like to have the customer ownership, the sticky revenue, the reoccurring, predictable, revenue. All those things we found have been very important to the copier dealer. And copier dealers understand that, right? Because that's how you've been selling copiers forever. Is basically, here's your copier, here's your paper, here's your ink, right? Here's your service agreement, and this is your monthly charge, right? So MRR is not something that's foreign to this particular channel.